Hey everyone, it's Lee with Mantis Mechanics, and I'm here with Chuck, my throwing bag. And today we're going to give you 3 beginner drills for the throwing bag. Now, the reason why I like a throwing bag instead of a partner sometimes is that 1, the throwing bag is always there for you, meaning you can practice anytime you want. It's never too busy, never has an injury, never wants to go on a date with its girlfriend, anything like that. It's always there for you. Number 2 is that Chuck here never gets hurt. Unlike a partner, if I throw my partner as hard as I can onto their head, they could get hurt, and that would make me feel bad. But Chuck, I can throw him on his head as many times as I want, and I don't feel a thing, and neither does he. So that's win-win. And number 3, Chuck never wants to throw me back, right? So if you practice with a partner, if you throw them, eventually they're going to want to throw you. Now, Chuck is so unselfish here. He lets me throw him 1,000,000 times if I want to, and he never wants to throw me back. So here they are, 3 beginner drills or throws that you can do on the throwing bag. Enjoy. Okay, so the first throw we have today is called Chia. Chia is a cut and hit throw, and it's a very simple throw. Basically, I'm just going to put my leg behind the throwing bag, and push it back. At the same time, I'm going to take the same hand on the same side, so right hand, right leg, and I'm going to push. So it's going to look like this. Again, up and back. Okay, let's check that out and see how it looks on Chuck over here. Okay, so now I've got Chuck here, and he's got 2 arms. If your throwing dummy doesn't have arms, that's fine. You can use a boxing bag too. You can just attach a rope as an arm, or for this throw, you don't even need arms. If your throwing dummy does have arms, I'm going to grab the throwing dummy's right arm with my left arm, and I'm going to move in. Now this is important. I don't want to do this throw from way out here. Now, if you watch a throwing dummy, the thing about him is that he won't act realistically. If you let him go, he'll just start to fall whichever way. So if you're not doing the throw properly, the bag's still going to end up on the ground. And that's not what you want. So you do need to practice with a live person sometimes. But here I'm going to grab his left arm, and I'm going to move in. And when I move in, I want my hip in line with the bag. So I want my hip in line with the bag. This right hand that you can't see is pushing on his shoulder, and my leg is going to come behind him. And I'm going to push it back and push him forward at the same time, causing him to go to the ground. It's like a scissor motion. So you really want to get behind him for this throw, and you should practice this on both sides. Okay, this is just the throw itself. It's not actually how to set up for the throw, just showing the throw for right now. When we get into more intermediate and advanced drills with the bag, we'll talk about how to set this up. Okay, now on to the next throw. Okay, our second throw is called ginty. This is another scissor throw. So in the first one, Chia, my right hand was moving forward and my right leg was moving back. So they're moving in opposite directions. For this one, my right hand is going to move right as my right foot moves left. But they're going to go at the same time in that scissoring motion. Okay, so let's see what that looks like on Chuck down here. Okay, I've got Chuck here. And again, I'm going to take my right hand and move it to his right side. So this outside, my right foot is going to stay on his left side. So I'm going to kick the bag here as I hit the bag here, and I'm going to move in. Very important to move in. I don't want to do it way back here. Again, this bag will fall on its own. So if I just do this, he'll start to fall. You may think you successfully threw, but that won't work on an opponent. The purpose of this is to get some power in your throws. Use the bag to get some power with your techniques. And this is like a kick down here, so it should hit with some force. Same thing, this is a hit up here, should hit with force. So I want to move in causing him to go to the ground as hard as I can. Ideally, I would want him to flip upside down and land on his head. There, he hit my wall here, so that stopped him from going over. But you get the idea. Let's move on to our third throw on the throwing dummy. Okay, our third technique is going to be called cow. Cow is another scissor technique, only a little bit different, where we're not going to move the bottom leg. The bottom leg is going to stay with the knee out and almost like a lunge or a bow stance, right? And the upper body is going to turn throwing the person or the dummy over the leg. Okay, so instead of being exactly like scissors, it's more like a paper cutter, where the bottom stays there and whoosh, you cut the paper. Okay, so we're going to turn the body, throwing it over the leg. Okay, let's see what this looks like on Chuck down here. Okay, so this is going to be cow. When I do cow, I want my leg on the outside, right, on the outside of the bag, like this. At the same time, I'm going to take this arm and bring it to the other side of him. It could be underneath the arm if you want, or at the head. Doesn't really matter for the throwing dummy. And I'm going to turn. So I have my back to you, and then I'm going to turn facing this way. Okay? Important to get a good stance. If I do it from this high, I'm probably not going to get that good of a throw. So when I start off, I'll start off in my regular ready stance, or maybe I'll start off in a fighting stance. Doesn't really matter for the bag. For application, it will. Again, we'll get into more of that in the intermediate and advanced techniques on where to put your hands and that sort of stuff. For now, we just want to get you throwing on the bag. So I'm going to step in deep, and then I'm going to turn my body, causing it to go to the ground. Okay? Maybe these throws don't look that spectacular to you. They're not meant to be. They're beginner throws. They're just simple scissor techniques that can work against opponents that aren't really that great of wrestlers or grapplers, right? These are basic techniques. Every martial art has these, and it will be pretty easy to counter them later on. So if you like this, please subscribe for more. Like the video. You can email me at mantismechanics@yahoo.com, and we'll see you next time for 3 intermediate throws here on the throwing bag.